Thank you very much, and thank you, Julio, and the organizers for the opportunity to address this audience. I'd like to acknowledge the First Nations people of this territory, the Coast Salish, whose traditional lands these are. This is actually an Aboriginal, the map of Aboriginal Canada, and all those green dots represent First Nations communities. And the red dots up in the north represent Inuit communities. There's some blue dots, which you can't see very well in the middle, representing Métis communities. We have three distinct Aboriginal groups in Canada, the Métis being a unique descendants of European and First Nations people. More than half of our Aboriginal people, though, live in our major cities, and this is something that factors into what I'll have to say. This is the overview of First Nations, Inuit, and Métis HIV and AIDS in Canada. It was provided to us by the Canadian Aboriginal AIDS Network, a community activist group. And you can see the stark difference, particularly in terms of injection drug use in AIDS and HIV as drivers in the Aboriginal population compared with the non-Aboriginal population. There's also more heterosexual contacts in AIDS, and then correspondingly less MSM. And so this does provide a rather unique population. There's further summary here from the Public Health Agency of Canada. And basically we've got a younger population, greater numbers of women, and of course certainly the emphasis on injection drug use. And other factors such as increased incidence of comorbidities in this population. Here's the situation here in British Columbia. So the light blue is the general population, and the dark blue is the Aboriginal population. So here, where we have probably among the best, if not the best, treatment, free drugs and everything else. So the problem is not economics or drugs availability and so on, it's access, and that's a very complicated issue, and one that needs to be dealt with. In other provinces in Western Canada, actually those rates are going up much more starkly than what we have here in British Columbia. So and I'd like to thank Evan Adams for this last slide and this one. I changed your slide a lot, Evan, but there are a lot of obstacles here to how to access care for Aboriginal people. And it applies to a lot of other things, but certainly it shows up starkly with HIV/AIDS, the historical and current relationships, stigma and confidentiality. Actually, the things that the other speakers talked about really all apply in this case to Aboriginal Canadians, mental health and addictions. These underlying health determinants, particularly the people with HIV/AIDS, the poverty, the lack of education, homelessness, and so on. And underlying all of this are unique Aboriginal issues, the loss of land, language and culture, residential school, and so on. So at the Canadian Institutes of Health Research, we've developed a model for research with Aboriginal communities that's a participatory action, and it's part of our business plan. And it respects community knowledge and the ability of communities to work with academic people, and we think that this is the way forward. So thank you very much, Miigwech.